In the vast, icy world of Antarctica lived a tiny baby penguin named Pippin. And Pippin had a secret, a very unusual secret for a penguin. He was absolutely terrified of water. Can you believe it? A penguin afraid of swimming. It sounds like a joke, doesn't it? But for little Pippin, it was a daily nightmare. Every single day, the penguin colony would gather for swimming lessons. One by one, all the other fluffy chicks would waddle to the edge of the ice and, with a cheerful chirp, leap into the sparkling blue sea. They'd splash and dive, chasing each other through the waves. But not Pippin. He would just stand at the very edge, his little body trembling, his tiny feet frozen to the spot. The water is so dark and deep. He'd cry to his parents, "What if there's something scary down there, lurking in the shadows?" This was especially hard because Pippin's dad was the colony's best swimmer. He could dive deeper and stay under longer than anyone. He was a champion. Imagine his shame. "My son," he would sigh, his head drooping, the only baby penguin in history who's afraid of water. Pippin felt the weight of that disappointment every single day. He wanted to make his dad proud, he really did, but the fear was like an icy wall he just couldn't break through. So Pippin decided he would just avoid the ocean altogether. While the other penguins feasted on fish, Pippin tried to find food on the land. He'd peck at the snow, hoping to find a tasty morsel. He'd walk for miles inland, searching for anything to eat. But here's the thing about penguins. They can't survive without the ocean. They can't survive without fish. Slowly but surely, Pippin grew hungrier and weaker. His fluffy feathers started to look dull. The other penguin chicks, seeing his plight, would sometimes share their catch with him. But that wasn't a solution. Pippin needed to learn to fish for himself. One particularly cold and snowy morning, a sound of panic cut through the air. A high-pitched, desperate squeaking. A baby seal pup, playing too close to a deep crack in the ice, had fallen in. The crack was long and narrow, too tight for any of the adult seals or penguins to squeeze through. The pup's mother wailed in distress. The entire colony gathered around, helpless. The crack led to a maze of dark, underwater tunnels. It was a vet strap. Pippin's mum, her voice filled with despair, cried out, only someone very small could fit through that crack. But they would have to swim through the dark water, through all those terrifying tunnels. Every penguin looked around, but no one moved. The dark water was one thing, but a dark, enclosed tunnel was another thing entirely. Pippin looked at the ice crack. He could see the little seal pup, its eyes wide with fear, struggling to stay afloat. He saw its terror, and it was a mirror of his own, his greatest, deepest fear, versus someone else's life. In that moment, something inside Pippin shifted. He took a deep breath, closed his eyes tight, and before he could change his mind, he jumped. The shock of the freezing water stole his breath. It was even colder and darker than he had imagined. Panic seized him. But then, he heard it again, the faint, terrified squeaking of the seal pup. It was a lifeline. He followed the sound. He was swimming for the very first time, and he was terrible at it. He bumped into ice walls, tumbled upside down, and swallowed salty water. But he kept moving. He pushed forward, driven by the sound of the crying pup. Finally, through the gloom, he saw a small, trembling shape. He'd found him. "Hold on to my wing," Pippin chirped, his voice shaky but determined. The little seal pup latched on, and together they navigated the terrifying labyrinth of tunnels. Pippin was scared out of his mind, but he wasn't alone anymore, and he had a job to do. He kept swimming, wingstroke after wingstroke, until a glimmer of light appeared ahead. They burst out of the water and into the bright daylight. The whole colony erupted in a deafening cheer. Penguins squawked and flapped their wings with joy. The mother seal rushed to her pup, covering him with grateful nudges. Pippin's dad waddled over, his eyes filled with tears of pride. "Pippin," he said, his voice thick with emotion, "you faced your worst fear to save someone else. That is true bravery." From that day on, Pippin swam every day. Sometimes, he still felt a little flutter of fear when he looked into the dark water. But now, he knew something important. Courage isn't about having no fear at all. Courage is being afraid and jumping in anyway. And he was never truly alone in the water again. The little seal pup he rescued became his best swimming buddy. And together, they explored the deep, dark water, facing its mysteries side by side. Thank you so much for watching Pippin's incredible story. If you were inspired by his courage, please hit that like button and subscribe for more amazing tales. We'll see you in the next video.